The stigma of mental illness is universal, and unfortunately our local community is no exception. Let's meet with some family members and peers to bring awareness of the glaring realities of this stigma. When you first realized that your loved one had an issue with mental illness, how did you feel about sharing with your family and friends? And how did your other children feel?
With my family and friends, I really was looking for some help. I was looking for some comfort. I was looking for people to really care about my son and myself. And I found that very difficult as we went along because, I have two sisters. One of them said, I want to comfort you, and the other one said, not in my family. And I found that in every place I went.
Raised in a traditional family and being a healthcare professional, did you have to fight the stigma within your own family?
Mental issues always have a stigma, and they always will. My family's traditional, so therefore they are taboo. So they don't believe that it's a sickness or a disease. We always were told to watch over, and they were known as the crazy one or the fun one or the party one of the family. So a lot of teaching and adjustment had to be done. And also in being in the healthcare field, the stigma is to put a Band-Aid on it. Treat them right there and not really maintain or maintenance. So it's very hard unless you specialize as a mental health worker or advocate for a family, friend, or loved one.
Can you think of a situation where you were excluded because of your illness?
I was bullied very badly when I was in high school. This made my mental illness worse and helped cause me to become hospitalized during my senior year. While I was still in the high school, my mother was asked to come to the school and met with a group of teachers and the school counselor. They asked my mother to withdraw me from school because they could not guarantee my safety. They offered nothing to help with my bullying.
How did you feel about the resources available, and did stigma play a role in seeking the needed support?
The phrase mental illness has a negative stigma associated with it. It suggests chronic symptoms that are challenging to manage and often strain relationships. Such was the case with my 28-year-old daughter, Mary, who was a dual diagnosis of bipolar disorder and substance abuse. While it took years to identify and understand Mary's illness, we were fortunate at a point of crisis to have access to helpful resources, including a county helpline, Flagler Hospital's mental health unit, a NAMI family-to-family class, and a NAMI support group. None of us would choose to have a mental illness, but support and resources like NAMI offer a lifeline of hope.
Do you think people treat you differently when they learn you have a mental illness?
I have learned to keep my mental illness private because there is much stigma attached to the disease. And by sharing it with people who don't understand it, it makes for a lot of preconceived notions and opinions that are sometimes wrong. So today I'm more private about my mental illness.
What are your hopes for the future regarding the way people with mental illness are perceived?
My hope is that people follow three things: to have an open mind, a calm head, and a calming spirit. And that way, not only can they say they understand, but they can empathize and sympathize, because that's what a lot of people have trouble with. They say if it doesn't happen to them or they don't know somebody, they don't really understand, or they're like, oh, it's not so bad, but it could happen to anybody.
SMA Stewart Marchment Act Behavioral Health Care, which offers outpatient mental health treatment serving Volusia, St. Johns, Flagler, and Putnam County. The other one is our FACT team, which stands for Florida Assertive Community Treatment, and they provide comprehensive services to individuals with mental illnesses. And last but not least is the Drop-In Center, which provides clients with a safe place to build social skills and healthy habits such as music, art, therapy, gardening, and culinary. We are blessed to have the Drop-In Center.
What kind of help do you need to become independent?
A better mode of transportation would be a lot nicer, because unfortunately I have to schedule trips with public transportation and it's not easy. Sometimes I'm very forgetful, and by the time I remember it's too late. And if they had a bus that was like a Votran bus or something bigger, or something that made stops every so far, it would be really more helpful.